up. There you go, free contact. I like the rowing, let's work on free contact.
So what we're doing here is we're hosting our 2020 Spring Training and Department of Defense Warrior Games Selection Camp, in which athletes are here to vie for positions on a 45-member team to compete at the DoD Warrior Games this year in San Antonio in September. We're offering 12 sports. The athletes are coming out. They have a very eventful week, which starts with athlete classification to put them in their right category for competition. And then they move through with specialized coaching in order to hone their skills, enhance their skills, and to ultimately come out and lay down performances for the selection process. It's not purely just about how the athlete does, how far they're fast they're running or throwing the shot put. It's about the recovery of the athlete. And so all of this is taken into consideration to put forward the best 45-member team. So we're really looking forward to some very exciting performances as they come out. Other than just the sports itself, we're also enhancing the athlete's wellness by additional services. And some of these are recovery-based, both mind and body. Things like yoga, for example. Take-home programs with both nutritional consultations, strength and conditioning consultations. And while they're here to keep their body strong and keep them well, acupuncture and physical therapy.
Being here with my fellow SOCOM athletes has brought me so much joy. Being surrounded by people such as Corey Remsburg, Jimmy Kovas, Tori, Clay Pendergrass, it has been remarkable. It has allowed me to not only feel uplifted, as well as be able to support them and their endeavors. The camaraderie is absolutely phenomenal. There are no excuses here. Everybody supports each other, and if you start making an excuse, it's very quick and clear that that doesn't settle well. You have to encourage each other and find that energy together every single day, no matter what you're facing, physically or psychologically. And so there's so many individuals such as DT who he'll call you out real quick and say, hey man, it could be a lot worse. You just got to figure it out and keep going. And so this camaraderie and this team has been literally the best experience I've ever had in my life up to this very moment. So I just am very grateful for my teammates. We're truly a family, and I go home and we communicate on a whole different level, supporting each other through social media and then back to the camps and then challenging each other on level after level. So it's been amazing. The one thing that I would like to touch on is just how beneficial the adaptive sports program is to our community. Our community is big, but we're actually really small. And the injured, ill, and wounded community is even smaller. And by having this program, it has allowed us to reconnect on a whole different level, especially for those who are medically retired. We're no longer serving at that capacity. And being invited to these adaptive camps and then making the Warrior Games team or making the Invictus Games team, it's another way to serve. And it just picks up everyone's morale, and it challenges us. And getting back on the stage and saying, hey, I'm representing our country, and this may have happened to me, but I'm not going to let it define me. And if it wasn't for this program, a lot of us would probably be confused on what direction, where to go, and we wouldn't have the support that we have. So I just want to say thank you for that. It's been a truly life-changing experience.
I suffer from really severe PTSD, which also kind of includes the depression aspect and the anxiety, and then the TBIs, and so those are all have to do with your mind and your head and things that people can't see. And so for me, that's been a really big struggle. The memory that you lose from TBIs is you got to adapt to it, just like the sports, right? You got to adapt to life and figure out how to make it work for you in your own set of reminders, I guess, for things. Just being crazy in the military in general. And then also a lot of nerve damage. So I have a lot of nerve damage down the right side of and in my head. So it's all a little bit of a struggle, but and I was really young, so I didn't really think a whole lot about it at the time. You know, you'd get the shots in your back and in between your spine, and you'd feel fine for a while, and you'd go back and get them again, and you'd take the meds or you'd go through physical therapy, but you really didn't want to let the team down, so you just kept pushing to get back out there. And I think I did a lot of damage just being stubborn and young and not knowing what this was ultimately going to do to me in the long run. These adaptive sports have helped me so much in multiple ways, so not just mentally and emotionally, but physically as well. I've been able to maintain a certain amount of strength to continue doing everything on my own, and mentally it's been the best antidepressant to just get out there and be active and be involved in some healthy competition and realizing that you are really capable of all these things again. And you never really weren't. You're just given these new opportunities, and so that for me has been mind-blowing, and you just can't, that's not something you can buy.
Gotta go through, come on!
So my injury occurred in 2010 in Afghanistan. During operations, we were engaged by the enemy, and during our firefight, I received a gunshot wound through the mouth. Entered through the mouth, took most of my chin bone and jaw, and then exited through the bottom, which it quickly medevaced from our area. Took about 2 years of multiple surgeries and recovery, and that happened in 2010, and then I returned back to active duty back in 2012. The military adaptive sports helped me out before I returned back to active duty. My SOCOM Care Coalition advocate reached out to me and knew that I was in a hard place because before my injury I was very in shape. I was fit, but after my injury it took a toll on me physically and mentally. It felt like I was starting all over again, and it was tiring, and the mentality was just, it was awful. My wife knew that I was struggling within those 2 years of multiple surgeries and recovery, because I wasn't able to do anything, nothing strenuous, and I have always been a very active person. So when my advocate reached out to me and kind of piqued my interest about sports, and I knew that it was something that I could do, which was the archery, because I knew it was not a strenuous sport, no high impact, nothing that would jaw my face or anything like that. That kind of brought a spark back into me. So after my first attendance at the first camp, it kind of put that light in me and that excitement back into me, like, oh, I can do something. And I was excited. And I think if it wasn't because of mass at that time, I probably would have hung it up in the military. I probably would have been done. I probably would have got to that point that I didn't want to go on more. I didn't want to stay in service. So that's how they helped me out. And from that day, I still remember my advocate from that time. And I thank him when I still see him or talk to him for introducing me to mass and getting me back into the fight.